Filmway sent Sharon Tate to England to meet up-and-coming Polish director Roman Polanski to see if he would cast her in his new film, The Fearless Vampire Killers. A series of dinner meetings were arranged.
Sharon and I had dinner, and she told me about the first night that Roman kissed her. And she said, well, we walked down the street, and she was so sweet and so charming about this. And then he stopped me. And you know, he was shorter than I was, so he had to jump up in the air to kiss me, and he knocked me down and landed on top of me. That was a description of this romantic moment.
So he's lying on this wet sidewalk kissing her, and she thought it was funny and weird and fun and very strange and Romanesque, as it were. So, and then they saw each other the next day, and by the time we went back, I think she was kind of hooked on Roman, and I suspect Roman was an artist and would not have miscast his picture, but I think he thought that he could get it out of her.
Who says vampires are no laughing matter? They certainly are. Sharon Tate. Two men on a vampire hunt. Simple? They certainly are.
Sharon and Roman's new relationship seemed to help her feel more comfortable in front of the camera. So comfortable, he convinced her to let him take nude photos of her on the set for Playboy. When her boyfriend, Jay Sebring, heard about the affair, he flew to London to find out if it was serious.
I think that he knew that her love for Roman was unshakable, but I do think that he made a conscious effort to keep himself around just in case something were to ever happen. He wanted to make sure that he was still a presence in her life. I think that Sharon was his one true love.
Jay remained a part of the new couple's circle of close friends. He would wear Sharon's college ring around his neck for the rest of his life.
But when she met Roman, I think that was the ballgame. He was offering something that they weren't. He was offering a window on a kind of more sophisticated, creative world that was about art, and not that he was in any sense inaccessible or ponderous, but I think she knew that he was the real thing in some way.
Paramount hired Roman to direct an adaptation of the best-selling horror novel, Rosemary's Baby. They rented a house on the beach and moved in together.
And I remember we were in Mexico, and Roman had complimented her on her dress. And she took it to a dressmaker, and she had like 9 of those dresses made in all different colors. She wanted so hard to please him and adored him. And clearly he adored her too.
You know, I think he was probably inclined to think that this was less a random sample, that there was somebody there that was, if not a vacuum, something that was waiting to be filled by what he wanted to fill it with. And I think he was attracted by that because he makes movies. He creates people and worlds.
Some have said that Roman wanted to cast Sharon as the scared pregnant girl in his new horror film. But because they were romantically involved, he thought it would be improper to make the suggestion himself. He hoped someone at Paramount would bring up Sharon's name. They never did. The part went to Mia Farrow, and Filmways loaned Sharon to 20th Century Fox for the movie version of Jacqueline Suzanne's trashy novel of Hollywood debauchery, Valley of the Dolls.
Sharon Tate as Jennifer, international sex symbol, victimized by everyone. She took the blue pills.
Oh, to hell with them. Let him droop.
Anne, honey, let's face it. All I know how to do is take off my clothes.
Publicity for the film played up her similarity to the character. Sharon sarcastically referred to her new image as sexy little me. With the release of Rosemary's Baby, Mia Farrow would receive rave reviews as a talented newcomer, and Roman would be lauded as a brilliant auteur. The late 1960s were a time of new openness, sexual liberation, drugs and politics all mixed together, and the party seemed almost too good to last. Settled in their beachfront house, Sharon and Roman became a fixture in the late 60s Hollywood in crowd. They took kung fu lessons from Bruce Lee. They had dinner with Senator Robert Kennedy the night of his assassination. A large circle of celebrity friends flocked to Sharon and Roman's home for its low-key family atmosphere.
It was a wonderful period, the Rosemary's Baby period, and she was a terrific girl. She was a wonderful cook. And she used to do Polish dishes, you know, those wonderful shrimp soups, and we used to have wonderful times with Jackie Bissett, Larry Harvey, all the Europeans that came.
We were all quite social. We were all kind of coming up, and Roman was doing quite well, and in our different areas we were quite a happy bunch of people.
It was, you know, the end of the 60s, the late 60s, and everybody was happy, and we were all so excited, and people were young, and it was just like the best of times.
Like Jay Sebring before, Roman too had been divorced, and his newfound fame was also bringing him attention from the opposite sex.
And she said to me, she said, you know, I know he's around all the time, but you know, he's my Roman and I love him.
I think she somehow at least tolerated double standard to the extent where she would be ignorant of it. And I don't think I gave any reason to be jealous or whatever.
On a trip to Europe for the premiere of Rosemary's Baby, Roman decided to make a commitment to Sharon.
Two top film folk got spliced and the press and public turned out in force. He's Polish-born director Roman Polanski. She's American actress Sharon Tate. And the huge public interest their wedding created shows that the magic of motion pictures is as strong today as ever. But the newlyweds weren't overshadowed by their big-name guests. Cutting the cake was the big scene of the day, and Roman and Sharon had top billing. The bride will keep working. Hubby says he wants a hippie, not a housewife.
Well, I was never, you know, 100% faithful, and I intended to be. I knew myself, and I knew that the marriage is not going to change me. But I loved her, and I think she loved me the same way, and it was the greatest period in my life.